Meteorologist John Birchfield here as we flip over the calendars into the start of November. Temperatures are going to cool off. Now, the end of October really brought some warmth, and we actually set a couple of records this week with temperatures pushing 80 degrees and, dare I say, a summer-like feel to cap off the month of October. That full weather forecast always on WTOL 11, and if you're not already subscribed to that Climate Friday newsletter, WTOL.com/email. We're going to break down the numbers behind that summer-like feel to cap off October and also preview what lies ahead into the start of November. So let's break down the week and what records were set over the course of the last week of October. Now, Sunday into Monday were pretty seasonable as far as late month goes. No major warmth Sunday. Monday, we did climb to the mid-60s. Just a little hint of what was to come after that. It was Tuesday and Wednesday where that summer-like feel really surged on through. Each one of those days set a new high temperature record. 79 degrees Tuesday and 79 Wednesday. Heading into Halloween, it was very warm as well. Not quite a record, but Thursday's high temperature still surged to 77 degrees. Of course, all these numbers coming in at Toledo Express Airport. The Halloween record is 80 degrees, so falling just shy of that, but still, two records were set in the final week of October. Let's start things off with Tuesday. The old record was 78. That was shared between several years where that temperature climbed to the upper 70s, and we barely topped it out by 1 degree, reaching 79. What about Wednesday? Another record. 2 days in a row, we checked that box as well. We beat that by a little bit of a bigger margin. The old record was only 77, and that was set back on October 30th of 1971. Over half a century since that record, and we beat it again with a pair of 79s. No official 80-degree temperature readings this week, but we did come awfully close. Not only has Toledo seen record high temperatures, but much of the United States as well. And this is one of the fingerprints of climate change, that these record highs become more common. Of course, the day-to-day fluctuations in the weather caused by the jet stream and the individual weather pattern. However, warmer temperatures associated with climate change, especially during the fall season. In the past 7 days, just the last week alone, over 1,000 high temperature records have been set across the United States from weather station to weather station, and that goes to show the magnitude of the warmth. What about the last month? In the past 30 days, over 6,000 record highs have been set in the United States. As a whole, it has been a very mild October, and October is one of the months that has been impacted the most significantly by climate change. You may think of summer heat as being one of the months and one of the seasons that's affected by global warming, but really the fall you see some of the biggest impacts. Fall warming has been noticeable nationwide. In fact, data shows that since 1970, or over the last 50 years or so, the average city has warmed by 2.5 degrees, and that is a pretty significant impact, not just due to happenstance. What about October nights? Those overnight lows have been affected even more, with a 3.3 degree increase. That's something you may have noticed with the warmer nights, and that really has some big impacts on fall colors. One of the triggers for the fall color change is those cool and crisp overnight low temperatures. Essentially, those cool nights cause trees to stop producing chlorophyll, which is the green pigment, and some of those brighter, more vibrant colors can be manifested. When you get these warm October nights, that can delay or even mute the fall color season. The leaf peeping industry has seen financial impacts due to climate change and the warming of October weather. Halloween brought the warm weather as well. We were so close to the record, which was set back in 1950 at 80 degrees. Of course, late October can be a wild card as well. You may remember last year, the snowiest Halloween on record was 0.7 of an inch of accumulation. The coldest Halloween was 1988 with 16-degree readings, and in 2013, we saw 1.2 inches of rainfall. Boy, what a difference a year makes. Just a year ago, we saw 0.7, the snowiest Halloween on record. And that goes to show also that climate change doesn't mean that every year is going to be warm, even though those overall trends do point towards a warming up. We do see some extremes on both ends of the spectrum. And speaking of extremes, near record warmth with that Halloween high of 77 degrees. As a whole, Halloween has gotten warmer, and the latest data shows that in the last half century or so, since 1970, there has been an average of 6 degrees increase in warmer Halloween nights. I pointed out that 3.3 degree increase as a whole across the country, but in Toledo in particular, that warming trend has been even more notable, which means that we've been affected by climate change even more than much of the country. As we head towards the month of November, we'll have the latest in the Climate Friday newsletter. Those leaves are falling off and temperatures are falling as well, but inevitably, some extreme weather conditions will continue for the rest of the year. If you're not already subscribed, WTOL.com/email, and we'll see you in next Friday's edition.